Alright, did another 24-mile ride today, and now it's time to see if the neck of this is ready for paint. So I'm going to find out by doing a full function test with both the truck and the trailer at the same time. See if it can pull out, see if it can back up, see if it can lift and lower, see if everything works as it should, or if I need to make any adjustments to my release mechanism. Alright, so let's see, let's go neck up. Let's see what happens, huh? Oh. Ooh. Oh, geez. But the truck lifted now goes too high. Alright, that's enough. Now I just need to take a little bit off of that. Alright, so let's grind a little more. Alright, so it's too hard to connect, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. But other than that, it can physically do that. Now let's see if it can drop it and pull out. Alright, let's drop the deck. Now the lock's too hard. Good thing I did this test, huh? Alright, so I gave the truck and trailer a full function test run today. Massive failure. A few things. One, since the truck rears about a 1/4 inch higher since I strengthened the springs, now the trailer doesn't hook up and function right. The neck doesn't with it. So I'd have to either completely adjust everything on it or lower the truck back down. So I'm going to take the springs back apart, take the springs back out, sorry, straighten them out a little more so I can lower that rear end back to where it was with the weak springs. That'll solve that. Then I did grind off some of the stuff for the lock on here so it could go further. I'm gonna have to change that now. I'm gonna have to weld some material back on there and grind it square again so I can fix that. Then third, the lock with the weight on here didn't want to release, so it was too much pressure on that little hook. It couldn't really pull it, so I'm gonna have to probably try and pop that, try and smooth that out a little bit and maybe put some grease on it, see if that fixes that. There's none on it now. That might be an easy fix. And then the third problem was the servo for this. It just wants to wander. I had the pot set in it and it just wanders all over the place. So after a little bit it starts going and you have to keep adjusting your trim to keep it from moving until eventually I was at -24 trim for that gear where it was set at 0. So that is not going to work. What I think I'm going to do, I think I have a couple small ESCs. I'll probably see if I can't just take the MOFSET and stuff out of there and replace it with a small ESC, so that way it's just go and stop like a car and it's not trying to talk to a servo or trying to talk to a pot. So that's that. That'll solve that problem, and then it'll just be go and back, which is all I need anyway. I'm guessing it's just this particular servo. The electronics in it are junk, or the pot's junk, one of the two. It just won't hold. I mean, I epoxied it in place, so I don't know why it's wandering like it is. It's just junk, I guess. So I gotta fix that too. So that's 3 small things I gotta fix before this neck is ready for paint and I can move on. So that's probably another day's worth of work and then some testing. See if I got it dialed in right. I'll probably also have to put some stuff on the bottom of this trailer. Turns out it slides too easily, so when you go to connect to the truck just pushes it. So I'll probably just weld on some little prongs on the end here or something, a little lip of material, just so it has something to help bite the ground and keep it from wanting to roll so easily. That way the truck can back up to it. I think a lot of those issues I had are with a different height, because then this was hitting the back too, because the truck is now a 1/4 inch higher. So a lot of little things. I'll get them tweaked though, and then we'll move on. So it's part of the process. We'll see you next time. Alright, so today we're back on the truck. So the stiffer rear suspension doesn't sag at all, and those extra leaves lifted it up a little bit with thickness. So now it sits about a 1/4 inch too high to hook up to the trailer. So I had made it to when it was lower, and now that it's higher it needs some adjustments. So I'm gonna have to lower it back down rather than redesign the whole neck of that trailer, all the angles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these wheels off. Once the wheels are off, I'm gonna straighten those springs out a little bit in the vise, bend them, and then get them to where it's approximately a 1/4 inch lower, and then put them back in here. Now we'll get these fenders back off. Now I need that pesky Phillips head again. Alright, all the screws are out. Let's try and see if we can't re-arch them without tearing the whole thing apart. Hopefully. Don't know that I did anything. Oh, you lowered them a little bit. That side's pretty straight. Alright, now I got them flattened out a bunch. Should lower the truck about a quarter inch. Let's see if it does. First, I want to look for other screws because I hate these Phillips heads. Let's go with the little longer but shiny new ones. All it is a pin anyway, so as long as it doesn't get in the way of anything, it's okay being a little long. Shouldn't rattle around or anything back here. Oh, that's worlds easier. All right, now the tires are tucking again. Let's see. Looks like I got it back to where I originally built it to. Alright, so I had ground some of this off so I could go lower on the truck with the stiffer suspension. Now I got to put some back in. So I cut this strip. I'm going to weld that back in here and then trim it back down to where it needs to be. Alright, now it's welded back in. Now I gotta clean it up. Alright, now I gotta get it nice and smooth and level again where that weld is. Alright, so now I also opened up the back of my servo. I have this little contraption here, which this came in a, was it Kyosho Blizzard? I replaced it with brushless motors and brushless stuff. So what I'm gonna do now is steal part of it. So I'm gonna steal one of the speed controls, which originally controlled those motors, which are much bigger than the one in this little gearbox. So this should have no problems powering it. And then it'll give me an on-off switch as well. There is a BEC in there, but well, we might as well use it, huh? We'll use this BEC. Why not? All it's got to do is power the RX, so I'll have this BEC for another project, I suppose. Alright, so first I'm going to cut these wires. They go into the servo. Let's cut the wires. Might as well just leave this sucker in here. He ain't hurting nobody. Well, it'll be cooler, huh? And we'll cut these ones that go. No, there we go. Came right out after I cut it. Alright. Now let's figure out which one's plus and which one's minus. Of course, there's no marks, so I'm gonna assume red is hot on the motor. Let's hope that's right. There we go. We'll get that out of there. So this essentially ESC with the pot that I glued solid, it's gonna be replaced with this. Looks like it'll be much, much, much more capable. So now I'm gonna reuse these original servo wires. Stop and go. Maybe it'll catch fire. Maybe it'll have more power. I don't know. Really don't know. Alright. So like I said, I don't know which one's positive and which one's negative. But I'm going to try and assume that red is going to be positive. Alright, now there's a heck of a lot more room in here too. Maybe I'll put a little radiator. I'm just being ridiculous now, guys. Alright, let's put the male on the motor for no good reason.
Back before Lincoln Park, back before the superstardom, and who was aggregate needs. Gravel Products Inc. For 50 years, Gravel Products has offered quality products with same-day.
Likes to do stuff, but Mama Bear loves to save her cash. That's why the first stop for any
Customers through mynotdeals.com. Every legal situation is unique, just like you.
Whew, I guess let's see if it works. Let's cross our fingers and hope.
Murphys.com and get a large signature $10 triple pepperoni and see what curbside options are available near you to reach Papa Murphy's Pizza. Dial pound.
It's got that motor in there still, but I wired up this Blizzard ESC. And here we go. So if I go like that, it'll go up. There we go, we got the lock on. In other words, it'll drop the nose. Then a double tap up. Pulls it up. And now there's no more drift either. It just stays. I don't know why the ESC is flash, or the RX is flashing. That usually means bind. So it works now. Now I need to see if it's tuned to get back to that truck height. So we'll save that for another day. For now, I'm happy it works. Let's see how it does. Full functions test complete! And it passes! Yes! Alright, now that it's passed its full functions test, adding this big ESC doesn't give me much room. I added that, the switch, and a few more wires and another connector here. So it doesn't leave me much space. I gotta figure out how to get these in here under that lid I made. Let's put it right up in the middle. So let's see if I have screws and a template. And 2 is what it needs. Okay. Alright, there's my template. We're gonna mount it right here in the center. There we go. So the switch is installed. Now let's get the next stuff organized. Alright, so if that goes there, and this goes here, there we go. That is a bunch of shit jammed in there. That ought to work now, though. Whew. There we go. So now this is ready for paint. Alright, so now I got this here body filler and some hardener for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go in this edge here where my weld had kind of gone through a little bit and put a nice smooth fillet in there to make it look a little better. So we'll sand that with a block, get it a little bit more level. Whoops. Maybe a little bit in there still. Alright, I think we got it. Listen up nice if you just lay down the first few coats. This guy though, he's fine. Now just so you know, I'm not clamping this in there. I'm just loosely putting it there. That way I don't mess up any threads. Oh yeah, you can see it's starting to flatten out here. We'll let it dry a few more minutes. Alright, I did one more coat of red on there. Hopefully it dries nice and glossy now. I didn't do another on here because he got a second one anyway. But I did do a second one on here and there. So I mean, they look glossy now, but we'll give it some time and see what happens once it dries up. That's gonna be sweet. And that's it for today. See you next time.